𝒂𝒐𝒓𝒌𝒊𝒐𝒏𝒂𝒑. Hi, everybody. And Anthony Senate, how are you? Hello, Alan Gall. You made it on time today. I'm doing good. How about yourself? Hi, everyone. Come on in, say hello. Come on in, say hello. So it's going to be a real short live tonight. My day was good. It's still going. It's still going, but it was good. Thank you for asking. Hello, Evil Proud. How are you doing? Good evening, ma'am. Hello, Illinois Sanctuary. How are you? Hello, Mr. Maggie. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. How are you? Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. Hello, TikTok family, Facebook, YouTube. Your friend showed me one of your videos and here to learn more. Thank you. Welcome. Welcome in. Send you an email. I'm sure you just sent me the email today, right? So don't send me another one if it's still less than 72 hours. I'm doing well, Eva Proud. How are you doing, ma? Oh, your friend. I was going to say, okay. All righty. Welcome, NKC_X. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Hi, everyone. Come on in. Start putting your questions in because, hello, Miss Abina. How are you? Because I got, I don't know what time I'm going to be sleeping tonight. Mr. Magic, he is back. Mr. Magic is back. Well, anyway, hi everyone. Good evening. I hope you all have had a blessed week so far. Okay, hold on. Joshi, I'll leave your question. Yes, put your question in the comment section. That's the whole point. Put your comment in the comment section, and we'll get as many answers as possible. So if you're just joining us for the first time, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Omobabasam. I just wanted to know if I can send it tomorrow morning. I'm not in the office tomorrow. So if you send it tomorrow morning, unless you're going to send with regular mail, if it's going to be, well, my mail lady will keep my mail. So that's fine. You can. They'll probably just hold it. Either give it to the lady in our front, the front desk in the office building, or they'll hold it till next week for me. But that's fine. Actually, you do know that that's not part of my representation, right? Responding to an RFE. So, but yeah, go ahead and send it. Anyway, this is Attorney 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, immigration attorney based in Alabama, representing immigration clients in all 50 states. If you've got an immigration case, if it's a case that I will handle, it doesn't matter what state you live in. Hello, cookies, baby. That's a question we get every day, and literally every single day. Like, you're in Alabama. How's this going to work? Like, do you come to court here, or do you go to interview here? What? It doesn't matter what state you live in. Actually, we're heading to Kentucky in second, a little under 3 weeks. So, for a client's interview, get ready for this. So it doesn't matter what state you live in. We can represent you in whatever state you live because immigration is federal practice. So if you need help, please contact our office, 334-341-4475. The easiest, fastest way is to go online, either on our social media platforms or website. Our website has basically all the information you want to have as far as contacting us, the kind of cases we take, and all that good stuff, and also scheduling your consultation if you decide to do that. That's 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. Hold on one second. Let me do this a little bit from the time. Just a little bit out here. Okay, much better. Okay, there we go. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕, 334-341-4475. Same number on WhatsApp. Same number you can text, direct text. Thank you, Ms. Illinois Sanctuary. And so please remember to share this video. Remember to let your friends and their friends and their friends know that if this is a source, I believe, dependable source to get information about immigration, Nothing specific to anyone's case, general information. A lot of people get adequate information from us, and that's a blessing. It's, you know, it's a great honor to be a blessing to everyone. An immigrant representing, passionately representing other immigrants. Emphasis on passionately, because y'all know I don't know how to hide my emotions. Either I'm taking your case fully or I'm not. I don't have no medium, so that's how it goes here. But please subscribe to YouTube channel, like, follow, share. We'll be very much appreciative of that. Okay, people, we're going to tackle as many questions as we can. So what we're talking about tonight, tackling, let me go back there. Tackling immigration misinformation. So let's do that in the form of taking your questions. Tackling immigration misinformation. There's so many street lawyers where you can get information. Sister lawyer, if I tell you how many things I hear as far as any goes, and then the people talk of when you know the blip hits the fan, and you call them like, hey, let's you ain't gonna see them anywhere. I can guarantee you that. So let's tackle those immigration misinformation that you've heard, that you weren't clarity on. Thank you, Ms. English, actually, that you weren't clarity on, that you know it's not going to be, you know, it's not going to be detailed. You want something detailed, let's have a specific private moment for that. When I say private moment, I mean like consultation, not like, and you get it just. So put your questions in the comment section. I will try to circle back as many times, but we're not going to do an ad today because I have a brief that I'm working on that I have to finish tonight. Anyway, all right, people, come on in. Hello, Ms. Giwa. Please subscribe. YouTube at Olale Immigration, TikTok, Facebook. Hello, Ms. Ude, how are you? Instagram at Olale Immigration. Let's talk immigration, everybody. All righty, let's tackle misinformation. What have they told you? And you're like, and then you go to those down like, hey, by the way, is this true? And the other immigrant tells you another thing, like, that's where I come in. So let's clarify all that for you. And so if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. Tuesdays, Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, we come together, all of us immigrants, those who have become citizens, who have become permanent residents, those who are waiting and having their gaze and focus and fixed on God, knowing that He's going to perfect that which He has started in our lives. All of us come together, we rejoice, we celebrate, we encourage. That's what this platform is about. All things immigration, but the most important part is praying for one another and encouraging one another. Because, you know, we can talk all day. That's what I do for a living. But I also understand that the blessing, what seals it, is a blessing from above. And when God puts His stamp of approval on it, that's it. There's nothing anyone can do to change that. So we come together and we share, you know, testimonies, and that's just the icing on the cake. Anyway, all right, let's get started. Let's see. I'm going to start on TikTok, on YouTube, and Facebook. And please remember to share. Very, very appreciative of that. All those who share and invite people to join and subscribe. Well, that is not taken for granted. I'm here full time. Okay, thank you. Happy Thursday and happy new month, Ms. Giwa. Happy new month, everybody. Shannon, me first, right? Yeah, the last time I saw you was in April. So happy new month. It's going to be a blessing. It's already, you know, decreed and declared that it's going to be a month full of amazing grace, that we will see our greatest and happiest and most joyful days are ahead of us, not behind us. They're still to come. And may we live long enough in good health to see those days in Jesus' name. Anyway, okay, let's go. So happy new month. Good evening. How are you tonight? I'm doing good, Mr. Yusuf. How are you? How many months will I get? Okay, so couple of things. Anything about processing times, if that's your question, it's going to be skipped unless it is something that it's not easily accessible on USCIS.gov website. So if you're looking for how long is work permit going to take, how long does VAWA take, how long does all of that, go on uscis.gov/processing times, and you will get that information on USCIS website. That's the same place that I will go to get that information. So you can do that research on your own. Okay. Let's see. Yes, we go live every Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Can you use the same lawyer who works on your I-130 denied case for a VAWA application, and does VAWA require submitting evidence? Okay, great question. I can't tell you how many times this question, hello, Miss Peggy, comes up. Please hear me loud and clear. Hear me loud and clear. If an attorney has represented you in your marriage-based case with your spouse, meaning that you are the beneficiary, your spouse filed an I-130, you filed an I-485, marriage doesn't work out, and you've got to now file, convert your case to a VAWA case. That attorney who represented both of you cannot represent you in a VAWA case. It is unethical for that attorney to represent you in a VAWA case. There is conflict written all over it, because the way VAWA works is this. You are using information from one spouse in favor of the other spouse against that spouse. So you cannot, in good faith, and I can't even tell you how many people I consult when they say my attorney, and I go, was that the same attorney who represented you in your regular case? And go, yeah, like, do you know that's not acceptable? Like, that's something that can be sanctioned for by the state bar. It is not acceptable. I'm not really sure why some attorneys do that. Y'all know I don't ever, because I'm an attorney. I always play devil's advocate when it comes to attorneys. That's the one thing I'm not sure why, but hear me loud and clear. That is unethical, because that is conflict right there. You cannot use information that you already gathered from one client against the other for someone you used to be your client and then turn against it. That's basically what that is. So no, that attorney cannot represent you if you're converting to a VAWA case. Well, they do, but they should not, because it's unethical. Okay. Does VAWA require submitting evidence? Absolutely. VAWA is the same thing as a regular marriage case. It's the same thing. You're going to prove good faith. The only difference is you're taking the spouse out of the equation, and you're standing in the shoes of your spouse. So you're like, okay, get out of here. I don't need your help anymore. You know what I mean? But you're still going to have to prove what your spouse would have been required to prove, which is good faith evidence, good faith marriage. All of the requirements in regular marriage case, but you're now the sole now the sole person who is going to be responsible to provide evidence for that. And then again, what another difference is, in a regular marriage case, whether they schedule an interview for you and your spouse, in a VAWA case, you don't have an interview scheduled for the VAWA petition. USCIS has the discretion to schedule for an interview for your I-485 admissibility issues. But as far as the VAWA petition is concerned, you submit all your evidence directly to the Monterey Center, and they adjudicate the case based on what you send in. I hope that helps. Okay. My case was from the transfer. My case was from the transfer to another jurisdiction. How many does it take? Huh? My case was from the transfer to another jurisdiction. How many does it take to get? Adiwala, if you rephrase your question, I have no clue what you're asking me. What's the time frame to get a work permit when you filed USCIS.gov/person time? The one thing I would say is this, however, when you're talking about what's the time frame to get a work permit if you file a VAWA case, the very first question you want to ask yourself is this: what category work permit did you file? VAWA cases can take up to 3 years for USCIS to adjudicate a VAWA petition. So it is important to note that you have to file your green card application, the I-485, so that you can get a work permit that you can get approved while the VAWA petition is pending, and that is a C9. A VAWA-related work permit category is C31. If you choose a C31 category, you're not going to get that until your VAWA case has been approved. So if you're waiting over a year and you're wondering what's going on in my case, the first thing I want you to go do is go look at your receipt notice for the I-765 and check what category is listed on that receipt notice. If it is C31 and your VAT is still pending, then that's the wrong, because if you select there's a part on page 14 of the I-360 petition where it would ask you, upon approval, do you want us to issue your employment authorization? If you select that, USCIS will automatically actually send you a C31 EAD. Actually, most of the time, if not half of the time, or more than half of the time, that will be your first indication where your VAT case has been approved, because your I-360 receipt number, case status will go, we order your new card. That new card is a C31 EAD that is issued automatically if you check that box on your form. So, but you don't get that until the very end of your VAT petition, meaning your VAT has been approved. So if you're still waiting more than a year, please go check your category that you selected. Make sure it's a C9 and make sure you had already filed an I-485 with your application. The good thing about VAT petitioners, or one of the good things I should say now since April 1st, is if you're filing a VAT case, you're not, thank you, Alan Gal, you're not paying filing fees anymore. For I-485, 765, I-301, even when you file a motion to or motion to reopen or appeal, anything VAT related, no more filing fees. So be sure to file your green card application so that you can file your work permit and start working while your VAT is suspended. Happy New Month, Ms. Merther. Thank you. The lawyer is trying to convince me. So Kennedy, and I won't say your first name. So when you say you don't need evidence, you need evidence of the good faith marriage. If you're talking of abuse evidence, most people go through non-physical abuse. So the part of the abuse, if you're talking about the abuse, then your most important evidence as far as the abuse part, especially non-physical abuse, is going to be your declaration affidavit. However, you still need to send in good faith evidence to show that the marriage was real. So unless you do not have anything else, that's where you make a very detailed affidavit to include why your marriage is real, what you guys did on a daily basis, what was your weekend routine, nightly routine, did you go on vacation, especially if your spouse took all the documents that you would have needed to prove your case. But the main thing is that attorney who represented you and your spouse cannot turn around and now represent you against your spouse. Think about it. How does that make any sense to anybody? My prima facie expired since February, and USCIS has not sent me a renewal. Should I be worried? Well, it's not like you should be worried, but sometimes they forget because they're human, right? And so what I do on behalf of my clients is, because we have access to an email as attorneys, that happens from time to time. If we haven't received a prima facie and it's been, once we hit the expiration date and we haven't received it, I send them an email saying, hey, we haven't received an extension on behalf of a client. So if you have an attorney on your case, ask your attorney to send them an email and inquire as to whether or not they've sent you an extension. If not, then ask them to send you the extension because you need it for your benefits. Okay. Can you take a VAT case that is going 2 years already? Probably not, because, well, I'm not saying probably not. I usually don't take on a case like that until I've done a FOIA request of your record, meaning I'm going to request your copy of your record from USCIS, and that's a separate service on its own. I review that record and then determine whether or not it's a case I'm going to take. So if you've been waiting 2 years, you're probably not, you're just probably going to still keep waiting unless you've got to respond to. Hopefully you don't get annoyed or notice or RFE, but if you've already submitted everything, then you may as well just wait till you hear back from them. Happy New Month, Miss Utola. How are you? You're welcome, Kennedy. Okay. Thank you, Miss Alina. I am doing well. Okay. Let's go to TikTok. right. I am doing good, Pastor Mike. How are you? Any update yet on your end? Can I travel with advance parole to attend my grandmother's burial, which comes on the 9th of June? I cannot tell you whether to travel or not. If you have a lawyer in your case, talk to your lawyer. They'll be in the best position to tell you whether you can travel. Disclaimer, general information, nothing specific to anybody's case. So don't ever ask lawyer, no. Mm-mm. We ain't doing that. But if this is helpful to you in any way, then that's the blessing in there. Okay. Hello, Attorney. Are you on? If you're on, you and I need to do like a joint live session. That's one of my colleagues. She is a fierce immigration lawyer. When I tell you she's fierce, she is. Thank you, Attorney Jude. I'm going to send your message after. You and I need to even do a session, just like a live session, and take maybe really have like a whole hour or something. Or I don't have. She is brilliant. Like y'all, you've got to be someone who challenges me intellectually. That's me. That's who I am. You can't. I'm the kind of person you cannot possibly, and I think that's why I'm still very single. There's nothing the man has that's going to, as in material stuff that you can, because there's nothing. I say this with the greatest humility. There's nothing that I'm looking for that I cannot work hard to get myself, right? Soft life is good. Listen, I ain't gonna say no to a man paying for things. Well, my point is, more than material stuff, you've got to challenge me intellectually. If you cannot hold a conversation with me where my brain has to work, go see how amount of money telling you. Because no. Clapping myself. But I say that to say this woman right here, one of the smartest attorneys you would ever meet. I just became a citizen and looking to sponsor my parents who have been in the US for the past 25 years. Oh, wow. Okay, so what's your question? I don't know if Attorney Judy's still here. That would be great. Let me see if she's still here. Let's see. That'll be lovely. So what's your question? Are you asking how to start the process? What is your question wanting to sponsor your parents? Well, congratulations on becoming a citizen. If I sent adjustment with I-765 on March 8th and I-765 was rejected, does that mean I have to pay I-765 now? So if you sent I-765 on March 8th and you sent, and even though it was rejected, but if it was based on a pending I-485 and that I-485 is still pending and you paid the filing fee for that before April 1st, you're not required to pay a filing fee to resend the 765. Housing management didn't put my spouse's name on the lease and also didn't issue no letter. Okay, so what's your question? Because when you make a statement, what's the question that follows that? Ekaro Mistaki, Shalaf Yalewa, all the way from Nigeria. Thank you for joining. Is what? This is midnight in Nigeria, right? The I-864 is confusing. It is. I agree with you. Can I use my W-2? No, the W-2 is it's not a replacement for your I-864. W-2 is one of the documents you've got to send in with your I-864. So it doesn't replace it. It's actually part of the required evidence you need. Okay, let's see. Oh, okay. After biometrics, I-765 and 45 are actually reviewed. Is it normal there's no updates for I-130? It's serious. Yeah, it's no big deal. To prove good faith, does that have to be in letters from friends and family? Good faith is after letters, photographs, text messages between two of you, vacation photos, video chat screenshots, using the same bank account, having access to each other's credit card. You've got proof that you use your bank state. You've got proof from your bank statement that you use the account for household expenses, gas, bills, going to get your nails done. Things like the normal couple do every day, weekends, visiting families, all of that. Thank you. Um, why does it seem EB1 employment-based adjustment of status has recently become slower in processing? I don't know. I-130 was approved, but I-45 still staying to be canceled. Do you know why? There's no how I can answer that. Let's see. What is the waiting time for green card holder petition for minor child need to wait before? Need to. Anything processing times, please go to uscis.gov and you get that information there. Will that affect my bona fide marriage proof without the lease and letter from housing management? And as long as it's not, because lease agreement is not necessarily, let me put it this way. There's so many people who have lease agreements and still get cases denied. It's not the only, because it's not a big deal to put someone's name on the lease. It's not about putting the person's name on the lease. It's about making sure the person lives there. If USCIS visits you or pays you a visit, that's why they do unannounced visit. If the lease agreement was just, full proof of good faith, they wouldn't make unannounced visits because they know people's names can just be added to the lease. That's why they make unannounced visits, because they want to see whether or not the person lives there. So someone's name who's not on the lease and USCIS pays your visit and actually sees the person's personal stuff there. You guys are cooking together. You're comfortable with each other. You've got they can actually see life being done in that home in spite of someone's name not being on the lease. That's more credible than just a lease agreement that has two names on it. I hope that helps. Being at NBC for 5 months waiting for Lagos interview, is there anything to do? It's gonna have to wait unless you've got a reason to ask them to expedite your case. It's just going to be a waiting game, really. Myra, I answered your question. I just answered your question. I answered your question in full. So in a nutshell, even if it's rejected, if you already filed an I-485 before April 1st and it's still pending, you don't need a filing fee for 765. If the petitioner does not show to the immigration appointment and is divorcing the applicant, does the applicant get deported? You're hopefully not, but what you want to do as the applicant is to go ahead and see an attorney. Make sure you get your case evaluated, because if someone decides they're not going to show up for your interview, that is a form of manipulation. That's a form of control. That is something that an attorney is going to evaluate to see, does this, and in addition to all the things that have been happening in the marriage, make you eligible for a valid green card. So before you think about self-deporting or whatever, make sure that you have exhausted your options to see what else you may qualify for. Because a lot of immigrants get abused. A lot of immigrants don't even want to accept that they're abused or even want to acknowledge that. But if that's the case, please do yourself a favor and talk to an attorney and make sure you've got the opportunity to see what options you have, and not just give up. We didn't come all the way from wherever we came from, West Africa, from the Caribbean to not give up. Just no, we ain't doing that. No. I filed for my parents. The application was approved, but I didn't get the interview date. What do I do? Interview date for what? You file for your parents' application was approved, then interview date. What are you talking about? Interview date at the embassy? Are they in your home country? Are they here? I just, I mean, what is interview date regarding what? You're welcome. Can I get EAD extension after renewal, after EAD expired? So USCIS has now gone back to the 540 days extension. So your EAD, once you file, you get a receipt notice. Your receipt notice will be your extension notice that will now extend your expired work permit for 540 days. Student visa, can you help? In what way? Are you trying to change status? Are you trying to come to the US? In what way? Okay. Can I get a 2-year protection order drop down to no valid protection order? That's not an immigration question. Interview date to the embassy in my home country. You're going to have to wait. Have you done all the, when you say the case has been approved, I'm assuming you've submitted all the civil documents required and they sent you an email saying you've been documentary qualified, right? That's what I'm assuming. If you've done all of that, then you've got to wait. It's a long process, really. There's a lot of backlogs in the Department of State that controls, NVC and all that, but it is what we're seeing. Lenore, thank you. Okay. My EAD expired on April 14, 2024, and sent out the EAD renewal after it expired. Do I still get an extension? You're going to get a notice, which is a receipt notice. The receipt notice was what doubles as your extension notice. It would say that this automatically extends your EAD. Well, because on the floor, like I would have shown you, but yeah. So yes. Can you help? She interviewed 2 years ago, was denied. Okay, if you're talking of help with student visa at the embassy, no, I don't handle that. Okay, all right. If you're going to put your question more than one time, I'm going to skip it. Do you know when visa bulletin for EB3 will be moving forward or current for date of filing? I don't. What I can say, however, is this. Based on the engagement we have, because USCIS does engagement stakeholder meetings from time to time and all that, and resources from our group, immigration lawyers group, USCIS is not anticipating, USCIS and DOS, Department of State, that releases the visa bulletin. They're not anticipating that there will be a big jump in the employment category, give or take, for about a few months. I'm hoping that it's not set in stone, but based on the number of visas, you've got to understand that 2 years ago, as of 2022, a lot of people were not even in the know about national interest waiver, for instance, right? So sometime in 2022, for many, many months, up until, I want to say, November, EB2 category EB3 was current, right? In 2023, USCI saw a huge uptick in the filing of employment-based self-petitions. In 2023, I think that was an 83% increase in NRW petitions. So you can imagine going from 83% within a span of 1 year. That really, really made things get backlogged. And so many people are still filing NIW cases. So that's one of the reasons why it still may be moving really slow, as far as being able to get your priority dates moving quickly. When can my husband get his green card after sending the RFE for medical examination? I can't answer that question. It's dependent on USCIS. Let's see. I filed for I-130 last year, January. Now this month, filed for change of status. You mean adjustment of status and new EAD. So what's your question? When you give a statement, what's the question that comes with it? My husband refused to attend a 10-year green card interview with me. Okay, so what's your question? What's the question? All right, let me go to Instagram while you put your question there. Anish Sue, I see your question, but you put your question like 6 times, so I'm not going to answer it because I have to sort through that to get to other people's questions, and I don't think that's fair. Okay, let's see. Thank you, Prestige GF. Let's see. How feasible is it, and what are the opportunities out there for immigrants to get green card after doing nursing school in the U.S.? It is very feasible because nurses are one of the occupations that has shortage. The one thing I'll tell you we do not do is we don't match you with employers. No, I'm not an agency. Sometimes from time to time, I mean, have agencies, and I had that happen because I am my office is in a not remote place, but it's a small town, and there's one hospital that's always recruiting quite a number of foreign nurses. So they would reach out to me from time to time, talking of reaching out to me. I just remember that I was supposed to send them an email, and I haven't. Let me just put it right here. And so looking, and they would match that immigrant with an employer, a nursing home, adult care, hospital, whatever the case may be, is looking to hire a nurse. So that's plenty of opportunities for nurses. As long as you have passed your exam, your license, majority of people, if they want you to be in the process or you've already gotten your license. For the most part, you have to have your license, pass your board, and have your license. The question, however, is this: are you going to be eligible to change to just status in the country? So the employer files for you, the I-140 gets approved. Will you be able to adjust your status? That's the question. How long after your vote is approved do you get an RFE for interview or interview for your green card? That's another question I can answer. How long does naturalization take from when you filed? Anything about processing time, once again, go on uscis.gov/processing time. You would get your answers there. Okay, let's see. I have a friend. Okay. I'll worry about it today. Where's the friend? You have a friend. All right. Let's talk about your friend. I have a friend who wants to apply for asylum on the grounds that she is bisexual, but she recently visited Nigeria after she left 6 years ago. Will it affect her asylum filing? So she wants to apply. So if she knows, it depends. It depends on how you make the argument. Did she the persecution get worse after she visited, or did, there's a lot of questions to be asked to see whether or not it's going to affect her filing. So your friend, the best thing your friend can do is to consult with a lawyer and evaluate their case. What would happen if ICE comes to your house and tells you that you have overstayed and fixed a date for you to go to immigration office, is that bad or good? Despite you're married, it's not a good thing because that's referring you to immigration court. But if you're married, then that could be your potential relief to get out of immigration court. Okay. A parent petition for her adult kids who are currently outside the U.S. The parents recently passed. Can the kids continue with the pending petition? It was filed a few years ago. In that case, I don't think so. There are situations where if the petitioner passes, especially if you're physically present in the country, then you can seek reinstatement from USCIS to allow you to go on with the petition, but not every category qualifies for that. In this case situation, what I would suggest is for your, I don't know if that's you, but sit down with a lawyer to actually give additional details, because this is not the yes or no question kind of question. Just love how yours keep going out the praise. Thank you. Amen. Month of amazing grace. Okay. My I-130 was approved in July 2022. My hearing was supposed to be 21 of May, but it was recently postponed to February 2026. What will I do? So when you say hearing, that's immigration court. Get a lawyer if you don't have one. So your lawyer can contact the DHS attorney, seek prosecutorial discretion request on your behalf to terminate your proceedings so that you can go back to USCIS and adjust your status. 2026 is too long to wait. So that's what you need to do. Let's see. Hello, finest Shandy. Can I file a request for a new card or file a new application if my I-131 765 was returned because it was unable to be delivered? You can. You can if you never got it. Being so smart is like a blessing and a curse. I just think no. Having intellectual conversations with your signal it is. I'm telling. Listen. To each their own. There's some people who are like, if a man doesn't have, big muscles and all that, or if a woman doesn't have like, I don't know, whatever physical. That's a list of. Obviously, you cannot be someone who, because I take good care of myself. At least I try. So you've got to take care of yourself. But I don't care how good looking you are. If you cannot hold me here, you're going to lose. And I have attention span of a 2-year-old. I mean, my ex-husband is a physician. Go figure. I got a type, I think. So, just saying. There's nothing like intellectual soundness. It is very, very. Let me not say what I was going to say. Is car insurance and government ID with same ID enough? You mean same address, enough proof of good faith evidence? It's not like those two documents is not all, sufficient, quote unquote, but it's part of what you can present. So you're on the right path. My 8-year-old son is a U.S. citizen. Oh, I'm gonna go. Is there any way of becoming a U.S. citizen without waiting until he is 21 years old? If you're looking to use the basis of your son being a citizen, no, you've got to wait until he's 21, then he can file for you. Thank you, Finest Shandy. So that answers the person that was asking about lease agreement. So many people have names on lease agreement, but do you live together? because that's why USCIS says, okay, let's go see what's going on. But they can come in, and even if you don't have your name on the list, which helps, but if there is evidence of you living together where they come into your house, they already know two people live here, or a couple, a husband and wife live here. Lease agreement, name of the lease agreement is irrelevant at that point. Okay, let's see. Are you still in status or out of status when your 10 years green card expires? So if you're talking about the 10-year green card itself, once it expires, that does not mean the expiration of your status. The 10-year green card is just proof that you're a legal permanent resident. So obviously, if someone asks you for proof of your residency, there's a fly here, it's going to drive me insane, then that's something you can present. But the fact that this card expires does not mean that your status expires. My question tonight is, when am I seeing you? Please find us, Shani, soon, very soon. Soon and very soon. Soon. If someone already filed for asylum and does that process with the employer to change the status, will that be an issue? If you've got an asylum pending and your employer files an I-140 petition on your behalf, it gets approved, that's great. However, asylum pending is not a status. In other words, the fact that you've got an asylum case that is pending doesn't make you eligible to be able to apply for a green card just because you have an asylum pending. Employment route is really, really stringent, for lack of a better word, because unlike marriage routes where if you're married citizen, it doesn't matter if you've overstayed. Employment routes, if you've overstayed for more than 180 days, you've got to have to leave the country to apply for immigrant visa. I thought we all agreed the friends should come in tonight and answer questions. Can I file a vow with my girlfriend without being married together in Texas? Can you file? So then that would not necessarily, you can't file a vow with your girlfriend. You can file vow if you're in a common law marriage, which Texas is a common law state as long as you meet the requirements. Okay. But if you're just referring to each other as boyfriend, girlfriend, and that's not, yeah. It's a safe place. Yeah. What if some people feel more comfortable saying their friend? That's okay. The friend will be listening. What are examples of proof of good faith you're filing business? What are examples of? Okay, let me rephrase your question. What are examples of good faith proof if you're filing a marriage-based green card? That's what you already said earlier on. Car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, lease agreement, photographs. I'll tell you that photographs can make or break your case. And a lot of people send photographs, and then USCIS tells you, well, the photographs you sent, it's just two of you in different poses in the house or in front of your apartment complex or at restaurant. That's everybody doing your restaurant. They want to see, what are you doing? Do you guys share the bathroom together? Do you get ready together? How do you unwind from at the end of the day from work? What is that like? What are your text messages like? Do you video chat during the day? Normal everyday things. I can't tell how many cases that I've been able to successfully, with God's help, get approved, some without interview, based on submitting photographs that tell the story of the couple, even way before getting married. I remember Mr. Annan last year. We filed his case in May. His green card was approved in September, and all we had were photographs because he didn't have social security number. He didn't have nothing, and he got his work permit, I think, about 2 weeks after we filed. Got his green card 4 months after filing. The main thing we submitted, if not the only thing, as far as good faith evidence, were their photos. The photos told their story for when they were dating, labeling everything up until getting married in the certain. So, we now have a lot of that. What is that? What is this person saying? Okay. You want to explain yourself before I block him? Maybe. Are you referring to me? Baba D underscore 75. Before I see what I was going to say. Okay. I wanted to be sure because we don't do negative stuff here. Zero tolerance for that. I'm going to tell you what she did because just to be sure. Mama TJ. 𝒊𝒎𝒎𝒊𝒈𝒓𝒂𝒏𝒕. What is this? Let's work your hands. Amen. He's referring to just making sure because that's the one thing we don't do negative anything because it's like we don't do that. But hey, listen. But anyway, let's see. No, I got zero tolerance for that kind of thing. But anyway, listen. How about we do this on Tuesday? And because I've got cover briefs in cases that have to go out without fail tomorrow. I know, financially. But thank you everybody for always joining. As we start this new month, I want you guys to know that your greatest days, your happiest days, your most favorite days are ahead of all of us. They're not behind us. May we see those days in great health. Hello, Mr. Kennedy. May we see those days, with abundance of God's grace. And may we always be able to come together to rejoice with one another. It's a lot for us as immigrants, especially if you have gone through this process, especially for those who have had cases denied. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to endure. We've come too far for us to give up. I want you to always remember that no matter what it is that is thrown your way, your greatest, most favorite days are still ahead of you. They're not behind you. So whatever it is that you're going through, as long as your focus remains on God, there is no record of failure with him. Absolutely no record of failure. Bible says once has he spoken, twice have I heard that all power belongs to him. And as long as it remains God, he has started that good work in you, meaning he has brought you, each and every one of us, myself included, here for a reason. We cannot go back home defeated. It's impossible. The only way we can fail is when we stop believing and stop trying. But if you never give up, then it's nothing for God to turn our situations around just like that. So that's all I'm going to say. That let's just keep praying and speaking into this month and the months to come, that it shall be well with us, that we shall flourish, we shall prosper in this foreign land, that all that our hands find to do shall be blessed, that if our minds can conceive it, our hands must achieve it, not because of any power of our own, but because we know that our hope is in God. And as long as he leads and we follow, we shall succeed and all shall be well. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, everybody.